Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Dave Morandi,
Here.
Trustee Lynn Miller,
Here?
Trustee Marie Early,
Yes.
Trustee Francis Murphy,
Here.
Trustee Steve Veloto, absent.
Okay, welcome. Welcome everyone. One thing.
Hi, everyone.
A couple of people. Have a shorter agenda tonight. We'll start with the financial report, and we did move you up already, Larry, so people in attendance, and there'll be no one left.
Thank you.
Anyway, financial report, highlights, whatever.
Okay, so this time, since we're 6 months into the fiscal year, I did a format in which it compares our actuals to the budget, and then also a 6-month projection going forward for the general fund. The water and sewer are a little more unpredictable, and that I would need Greg's input from. So just a couple highlights in the general fund. I think that there's going to be some savings in a couple departments, which is a good thing. We have the building department. When we did the budget, we didn't anticipate the consolidation, so there's about 7,000 savings there. Highway is another 7,000 savings in salaries, so long as it doesn't snow too much. There's some snow built into it though. Main Street project, we budgeted 8,000 for trees, but I was able to push that back to last year where it belonged, so there's gonna be 4,000 savings there. Medical insurance, there's a $25,000 savings at least. That's significant. One being that a new employee opted to not take the insurance, and also I budgeted for a 10% increase, and they only went up 7.5% their rates. Still steep, but
Can you back up?
Yeah.
It struck me today. If there's money available from the HDRB grant, can it be used for legal expenses, to offset the legal expenses? Or is that a question I should ask of the HDRB?
so the money budgeted, it's in the HDRB grant line.
Right,
The idea was those expenses would be a 1-for-1 on the revenue.
right.
But since there's savings elsewhere, we can move it into HDRB contractual. We just wouldn't get reimbursed from the state.
Ah, okay,
Because their grant, Kathleen had requested 14.5,
right.
not realizing that 5,000 was attributed to last year. So the revenue comes down 5, and the expense comes down 5.
Okay.
Police retirement, that's over by about 4,500. The state puts out estimates. I didn't do that, but the state's on a 2-year lag. So we had hired someone else, Officer Comiskey, who was not on the 2 years ago report. So we didn't factor in his salary, or the state didn't factor in his salary for his pension contributions. But it's okay. Workers' comp, by switching insurance companies, general fund has a savings. Sewer fund, it went up a little bit, and then the water fund, it's about the same. Phone services, we got rid of some Verizon wireless phone numbers, so that's a small savings. Central Hudson, we got rid of Meridian. They were a very good deal in the beginning, and then in the second year, their rates skyrocketed over Central Hudson's. So by canceling that, it's back down to a normal rate. And then overall, I think right now, if the year ended today, would be about $53,000 savings or revenue over expense. Because not all the revenue is going to come in either, but if you compare revenue to expense, it's about 53. Water and sewer funds look okay. They're both about smack 50% revenues and expense. Like I said, projections, that's probably better to do at 9 months with Greg. And then you'll see there are some accounts that are over a little bit. I'll do budget transfers next meeting for that. Any specific account questions?
Just on the highlights,
Yeah.
one or two places you said you were able to move things back to last year.
Mm-hmm.
What did that do to last year's budget numbers?
there was room. So the Main Street project, was supposed to all have been in last year anyway, so the money was there. And then the HDRB grant, the same thing. It was budgeted at 14.5 last year.
Thank you.
Michelle, nice work on the, projections, year-end fiscal year-end projections, and, percent realized. It gives us a good idea of where we are. Nicely done.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, thank you, another job well done,
Thanks for
thank you.
coming back, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Police Department report, officer in charge, Larry Burke,
Good evening, everybody. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, thank
Yes,
you.
it'd be-
Very good.
You don't know what to do anymore.
No, I
It's
don't.
like,
It's Hanukkah
just
night.
spin
We
around.
Yep.
can do Happy Hanukkah too.
For the month report of November 2017, we've been averaging between 70 and 75 calls. We had 72 calls in the month of November. As we actually fall into the fall, into the winter months, Main Street gets a lot less busy, so some of the calls are a little less with, people getting injured, people falling and stuff like that. Actually, this month, we had no arrests. And with the summonses, we issued a total number of moving summonses was 14, and the total number of parking summonses was 44, for a total of 58. As I brought up at the last meeting, I did get a quote for some surveillance cameras for front of the police station, front of Village Hall, for some backdoor issues that we have upstairs, and for the prisoner processing areas. I got a quote from Management Technologies. That's our IT guy that does the computers. He came in with a quote of $5,015, and that's total of 7 cameras, wiring systems, the cameras themselves, and the memory for up to about a month of surveillance at this time. I gave copies to the village board. I'm sure you guys will go over the quote. If there's any other questions, please feel free to contact me.
Larry, do you know if this is the same, someone else was talking to Jeff about about our whole system, the phone system in the side room. It's Managed Technologies, that company, do you know?
That's Anthony. He takes care of all our computer systems. He takes care of the computer systems in the front office, Jeff's computer.
Where with the, Ally was doing work for us, and he recommended someone, I guess he's stepping out of the business now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's not
I
the
just
same
do.
as this.
That's not the same one.
No, so I wouldn't think so.
So where did this company come from?
This is Anthony O'Donnell.
Oh, this is Anthony's company.
This is
Oh, okay.
Anthony's, yep.
All right. Okay, so we'll digest that a bit, and then hopefully we can put it on maybe next week's agenda.
Okay.
Is there any time sensitivity in any of this, like as far as the grant you got, or as far as?
Oh, I didn't even mention that. Yes, we did secure the grant from Sue Sereno's office for $2,500, which we can put towards this. The grant was for any police equipment such as laptop computers or safety issues or anything like that, and this would fit right into that grant. The grant, I do believe has to be kind of wrapped up probably within the next 30 days. I will double check on that. I'm actually making it a little bit quicker than it might be. I know Michelle's been working on it with me, so I will talk to her this week and definitely get it out if we have an exact date.
Okay, okay.
So Michelle is aware of the upcoming request for funding.
Yes, we've been working together because
Great.
going through the state and all the different people you got to contact and stuff like that, and plus she has to know exactly what invoice she has to set up.
Right.
We have to spend the money first in order to get the grant money refurbished for us.
Okay.
I just have a quick question
Yep.
on the monthly report.
Mm-hmm.
What is the VNT complaint? Right down at the bottom?
Yep, the VNT complaint. Give me 1 second. That is the vehicle and traffic complaint.
Oh,
I
I see.
saw somebody speeding. I saw somebody driving reckless. That
So
complaint.
that's somebody calling that in? to
Yes.
me. Okay,
Yes.
just wondering what it was.
Yep.
Was that one of me? We did call in.
Parking at Lowell Main, waiting to pick up passengers. I could fall into that.
We were following a dog one. Okay, thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Next, Rec Commission, submitted by Chair Bruce Campbell. Recreation Commission Committee met on Tuesday, November, doesn't have a date. Discussed True Green contract for 2018, discussed future idea and plans for Main Street bathroom maintenance, discussed annual tree lighting, setup, and event date. Met and welcomed new rec member Ruth Ann Barr. Not Roseanne. Tree lighting event planned for Saturday, the 2nd. A little of this is past. Vera's Garden Center donated the tree. If anyone was down there, as we reported at our last meeting, it was well attended and job well done by both Bruce and the rec committee. And also held in Leo Club and Scouts assistant setting up and decorating.
And the fire company.
And I know, give me a chance.
Okay.
Go ahead. And Danny Dillon was the MC, and also the fire company who set up built a sleigh and set that on our new trailer and brought Santa around to the delight of everyone. So thank you to all those who are involved. Continuing on with Bruce's report, waterfront trees overturned by the heavy windstorm were cut and cleared away 5 days after the storm. Worked with Jennifer from TAB, an experienced tree farm contractor, as to site visit as tree replacement recommendations. NYSSA Sylvatica was the TAB recommendation. That's a Tupelo. Jennifer visited the tree farm and tagged 3 beautiful Tupelo trees. These can be planned for planting this month, if also approved by the village board. Winter planting is better, but also can be planned for spring of 18. All fall in line with insurance coverage. All are of decent size, at least 6 inches in diameter, all with 1-year full replacement warranty. As to the remaining willow tree, an inspection of TAB members, it was determined that the root structure is still strong and the tree should be fine. Follow up on that, I just was down there yesterday, I believe, or day before, and they were pruning that and cleaning out the crown, so that's been taken care of also. All disrupted pavers will be part of the plan for spring of 2018. The pavers around the remaining willow will also be addressed and reset to eliminate any tripping hazard. This is also covered by insurance. Please get back to me on this so I can arrange planting. I guess he's talking to the board. And recreation will not meet on the 3rd Tuesday in December.
So do we wanna go with their recommendation for the 3 Tupelo trees?
If that's the recommendation, yeah. So,
Do we need to vote on
yeah, I guess we should.
Does anyone know if the insurance company requires more than one bid, or are they just gonna cover whatever we do, or? I sort of stepped back out of that since Bruce,
No, since it's going through the insurance company, I don't know.
I had the impression they were gonna pay whatever, you know, as long as we were within.
I don't know. Do you wanna wait on it and see? Or approve with the condition that
Yeah.
we don't have to get bids?
I would approve.
There's no price on anything, so I don't know even what the amount is.
Yeah, and I looked at Jennifer's report, she didn't mention anything on it, so. We're meeting again next week, right?
Yeah, we're meeting next week.
I mean, they wanna plant in December as long as we don't have a foot of snow.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start.
it? So should we make a motion to proceed with this?
Okay, we'll make a motion, we can make, wait.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the purchase of the 3 Tupelo trees for the waterfront as recommended by the Recreation Committee.
And I will add, under the condition that we don't have to, per our policy, get more than one bid.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll talk to Michelle tomorrow and just make sure we don't have to, since it's
Right.
going to the insurance company. Okay, planning board, we don't have a report, we have something down the line, on the agenda from them. Zoning Board of Appeals, we do not have anything. Town of Phillipstown, we have a report sent in from Bob Flaherty, who's usually here. Sorry I can't be there this evening. There's four or five bullets. Annex building this is for the new building department, is being occupied and started the process of moving in. We had our official meeting there on Monday, December 11th. The rolling file system is in the process of being assembled and will be completed by the end of the week. Building came out great, and we're very, very pleased with the overall results. Manitou Station Road Phase 1 has been completed, consisted on installing two 24-inch pipes in the section where the major problems have been over the past several years. Roadway was raised between 36 inches to 42 inches. Phase 2 will not happen until the spring 2018, which will be to raise the roadway another 24 to 32 inches. Carl on the highway department did a very nice job on this. Excuse me. Cell tower that is being proposed on Vineyard Road. There was a public hearing. This was a joint meeting with ZBA and Conservation Board, held at the rec center with a very large crowd. Cell tower company addressed all outstanding issues from the last meeting and made their case for selecting this location and the need for the tower. Many citizens spoke and raised their concerns again. The shot clock was extended till January 8th, and the public hearing will remain open until the 8th. Meeting was adjourned at 10:50 p.m. Next meeting will be held on January 8th at 7:30 p.m. at the rec center. Bids on the replacement windows for Town Hall are under review. Discussion regarding the draft on safe gun storage was brought up. There will be additional discussion over the coming months on this topic. In the process of updating the comprehensive plan, we had a few meetings with the committee as they will resume in mid-January 2018. And Stephanie Hawkins was named to the Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA. Thank you, Bob. The HDRB, we do not have anything. Fire company, we do not have anything. Parking committee, we do not have anything.
Do we wanna cancel the meeting for Thursday night?
Yes, we are canceling the meeting for Thursday night
Which,
for the parking.
Oh.
The reason for that is if you have not heard, that Anthony's wife, Deb, has passed away. So our condolences to the Phillips family. That's another reason why Greg will not be here tonight. I think she'll be sorely missed, definitely by the Phillips family. Anthony and her were married for 57 years, so it's a long, close marriage. So again, condolences to the Phillipses. Tree Advisory Board, we have a short one from them. Says, please find a suggested DEC work plan.
I think it's December.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think
Okay.
it is.
I was wondering what that was.
I
For some
think
reason,
that's what it is.
yeah, it must be. December work plan for maintenance and other activities related to village trees. These are suggested work plan. Tree maintenance coordinate at your convenience with Phillips on Highway Department at their convenience on project of grinding approximately 20 to 25 stumps. Please schedule dates for stump removal work project for end of November, which is passed, or first week of December, which is passed, weather permitting. TAB can assist if needed in coordinating with the tree removal projects, so this occurs after these new trees are removed. TAB can provide a map indicating stump locations if required. Updated note, this task needs to be done ASAP so that the borrowed equipment can be returned.
Does anyone know whether or not this was communicated to Charlie?
I do not know. Charlie knows about the grinder, and we were in contact with Carl, but I don't know when. I don't know if he knows that there's a cutoff date or if they have to bring it back or not.
Okay, I'll follow up on that tomorrow.
And I don't know if they will have time to do it immediately, or if it might be put off till next. And we might have to borrow it again. Code update.
The Code Update Committee has held 3 regular meetings in November. All meetings centered around the materials to be presented at the public meeting. The public meeting for phase 2 occurred on November 29th at the firehouse. 21 people attended. The format of the meeting was a presentation on the history of the Code Update Committee, followed by major points in each of the 9 topics in appearance, followed by a public comment and question and answer session. All materials from the public meeting have been posted to the village website. The public meeting will be kept open until December 31st to allow for additional public comments. Thus far, 2 letters of public comment have been received. The CUC will schedule a review of public comments in December. All public comments, both from the public meeting and those received prior to December 31st, will be posted on the village website.
Thank you, and thank you for, having that meeting and all the time spent into it. Definitely a big project and a big undertaking, so thank you and your committee.
Wonderful job.
Let's see. We do not have, as I said, a report from Water and Wastewater Department, Building Department. New building permit applications received 10, building permits issued 8, dumpster permits issued 1, COs issued 3, title search completed 5, complaints received 4, referrals generated HDRB 2 and ZBA 1. Applications and permit fees collected in the month of November, $2,253. Title search fees collected $375 for a total of $2,628. Fran, you wanna?
The abbreviated highway, excuse me, the highway report for the month of November. Garbage pickup 78.6 tons, recycling pickup 23.1 tons. Pulled out the old sidewalk on Orchard Street for the contractor to form and pour a new one. Yard debris pickup every Wednesday. They're blowing leaves around the village and picking up with the leaf truck. Hung Christmas decorations, and thank you to the Putnam County Highway Department for the use of their bucket truck. Patched holes throughout the village, shut water off at Mayor's Park, and winterized the bathrooms and utility room, and made more repairs to the village trucks.
You. Justice Court, let's see, fines, forfeited bails and civil penalties, $3,468. Parking tickets, $2,490. Civil fees, $295. Mandatory state surcharges, $2,407, for a total of $6,880. Submitted respectfully from Thomas Costello, Village Justice. Let's see. Anything from the board would like to? Lynn, start anything?
Oh, actually, this might be of interest to the public. Our new place was inspected by the health department today, and of special note from the health department, she admonished us all to be especially stringent with hand washing and sanitizing of doorknobs and telephones and anything that people share in common, because an especially nasty strain of the norovirus is gallivanting around the Hudson Valley and making a lot of people very sick. You usually get sick about 24 to 36 hours after exposure. Usually sick for about 3 days. Many people misinterpret it as the flu, but it's also highly contagious. So everybody be especially vigilant with hand washing, stuff like that.
Thank you.
Let's keep everybody healthy.
Marie?
No.
Fran?
Lynn and I have been discussing the employee appreciation party, and we were going to suggest that we have it on January, was it 27th?
27th?
The last Friday night of January, provided that the firehouse has the room available. So that was, and we're working on the food and so on and so forth, but we wanted to throw that date out to start with, so if everyone's in agreement with that, we'll go out to the firehouse and see that the room is available, and we'll go from there. The 27th is actually a Saturday, so I guess it would be the 26th.
Sixth.
It would be the 26th, yeah. So if everyone's okay with the
If you can pull it together.
22, and if the room is okay, we were gonna send notes to all the employees and volunteers, just like a save the date note. And we can get it moving from there, and we'll work on pulling it together.
Okay. Give us an update next week.
Is it a save the date, or is it a, this is when the party's gonna be?
Well, it's a save the date, I mean, it is when the party's gonna be, so if you save the date so you don't book something else.
Right, so, but this is the only announcement that'll go out to them.
No, we'll send an invitation afterwards,
Oh, okay.
once we pull the invitation together.
And once we get if the firehouse is available.
Yeah.
If not, then what?
If not, if they're not available, then we didn't get that far.
But you're gonna check with about
We're
the
gonna
firehouse
check with them
first.
before we send any notes out
Yeah.
anyway.
Ideally, we'd like the 26th, but can we go a week, we can probably go a week earlier or a week later if that's necessary.
I don't think a week earlier is gonna work, so
Oh,
I would stick with that, seems good.
All right,
Okay. Is that it? Or do you have anything
That's
else?
all I have now, that's all I have.
I have a few things, let's see. As I said before, condolences to the Phillips family and former mayor Anthony Phillips, who had lost his wife a few days ago. So, again, I believe the services are well, the wake is Thursday,
Thursday.
was it 4 to 8?
4 to 8, yeah.
4 to 8 at Clinton's. So, let's see, also, tomorrow I'll be meeting with Fjord Trail, just following up on what's going on with that. I think it's, has to do with the breakneck connector, not on our side of the, tunnel, but I'll report on that following week. This Thursday and Friday, I'll be meeting, early in the morning for about 15 minutes with the Haldane students who had sent us a letter last week. They one to discuss work and a project that they would like to do. One is a skate park down at Mayor's Park, and one is painting and cleaning up the subway. So we're gonna kind of look at those two sites and get a better idea of what they want, and then they will probably make a presentation following that. So we'll keep you updated on that. Status of the bathrooms, they're closed, they're closed. I was gonna close them, but I then met with the chamber and, felt that we would try to get at least one open for the rest of the year. And, Bruce Campbell, who it's kind of his jurisdiction with the rec department, was working on that. It seemed like he was having a problem finding, a plumber or a plumber with reasonable rates, I'm not sure which. I haven't spoken to him in a week, I'm not sure where that's at, but they're still closed at this point. We are trying to get at least one open for the remainder of the year. Follow up on that next week, and I'll follow up with Bruce.
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question on the bathrooms. Has there been any interest from Putnam, Eastern Putnam, namely the legislature, for giving us some funding?
Not as of yet.
Okay. It strikes me as this is definitely caused by a lot of tourism and a lot of usage, and
Absolutely.
this would be a great way for them to get us some of our sales tax back.
I am working with the chamber, and the chamber's trying to pull things together with the business owners on Main Street, and I think that's also going to work with, and also working on the tourist department or whatever in Putnam County. So hopefully there's new people running the chamber that are trying to pull some stuff together, and if they can, that was definitely one of the topics that they were talking about. Trying to,
Yeah, thanks.
let's
Hey,
see.
Dave, I'm sorry, could I add to that?
Yeah, okay, ask one and then we're going to public comment after.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, the MTA may also be, a reasonable source of.
Right, we just had
Should
met
be.
with them last week, so
Right.
I think that was something that did come up.
Maybe they don't agree, but I think they're also dropping people off at large numbers, so.
I had contacted the MTA last year, as well as Sandy Galiff's office, and Sandy Galiff could assist us with funding if we were building new. she does not assist with funding in repairing current, and the MTA is not in the building or repairing of restrooms business. They point out that there are restrooms on the trains, and people who use the train should use the restrooms on the trains. They also pointed out that any new construction of terminals or any new construction of terminals, there are no restrooms being constructed for those new terminals. Again, the MTA's position is that there are restrooms on the trains, use them. That was last year.
We also asked for more funds last year, as we do every year, from Putnam County for their budget, and received none. It's like $7,500 now. We asked for 10. That was denied. As was mentioned, in the highway, a couple of small projects, sidewalk projects were finished. They seem small, but when you're working on them, they definitely aren't that easy. One was just a small curb section along the north side of Oak Street, where water was coming down and going into the driveways and then into the residence there. And one is a longer section of sidewalk and curb along the northwest side of Orchard Street. The trees, as was pointed out, and the kind of some stuff is past or things have happened. The trees finally, we were trying to take down a number of them for seemingly quite a while. It was definitely a year, and finally that work was done the last couple of weeks. So the main trees that had most significant liability were taken down and or pruned, and as I also said, the crown was thinned out on the remaining willow at the riverfront. A letter and a copy of the tectonic survey will be sent out tomorrow to the landowners most likely affected by the Upper Dam project. So thank you to Jeff. We drafted a letter and then put that together. Tectonic sent us copies of the survey, binded copies, so they'll be sent out. And lastly, we have another letter from our friends in Nelsonville, which I will read.
That's on the agenda for later.
What's that? Oh, it's on the agenda for later. Okay. We'll do that later then. Okay, that's all I have. So, going to new business, we have approval of Laura Eldon and Sue Mayer to the planning board. I have a letter from Matt Francisco. As you're aware, due to life events, there are 2 planning board members that need to come off the board as soon as replacements can be found. The planning board met with Laura Eldon and Sue Mayer this past Thursday. Both applicants for the openings are village residents who submitted letters of interest. There was a unanimous vote in support of both of their applications by the members of the planning board, Dave Marion, Judith Rose, and Stephanie Hawken, as well as myself. The planning board respectfully requests that the village board consider the appointment of Laura Eldon and Sue Mayer to the planning board effective immediately. Beyond simply meeting the need for members to achieve quorum and immediate and urgent need, Laura Eldon has direct, relevant professional experience working as an architect designer, and Sue Mayer offers an alternative perspective as a lifelong educator with recent relevant personal experience in the full board approval process, having developed 2 lots and built a home here in the village. Respectfully, Matthew Francisco, Chair of the Planning Board. So, I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendations from the Planning Board to appoint Laura Eldon and Sue Mayer to the board.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, the correspondence. We do have a petition from Johnny Peters from 18 Fair Street. It's a petition for speed reduction signs on Fair Street. Please support this petition to introduce slow down signage on both ends of Fair Street, Northern Avenue cross-section, help reduce speeding. There's a list of let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 25 people. Many not, strangely not from Fair Street. There were 3 from Hudson House, a few from Furnace Street, Parsonage Street, Old Albany Post Road.
Main Street.
Main Street, Stoner Street. So, not sure, Fran had actually pulled some information from our insurance company as them not actually recommending these types of signs for a number of reasons. You don't have that with you, we had it last week.
I had it last week. One of the main reasons was, that when you put signs saying, children at play, children assume they can just play in the streets, which isn't the smartest of ideas, and they did say in the article, and I don't have it with me, that there are certain signs approved by the state to be used, and children at play was not one of them. Now, why, watch out for children, please slow down. I don't know if these are, but I believe they would need to be approved, by the state. I don't know,
I think there's also a false sense of security, or
Yeah.
that the signs were up, and I'm not actually in favor of putting the signs up. I'm not sure how everyone else feels, or if you'd like to see this information, we can put that in the next agenda, the information that we had from our insurance company.
are there any speed limit signs posted on Fair Street, or do we need to
No, but
post them?
they would have to be
Goes back
30
to-
miles an
yeah,
hour.
it goes
and
back to that
after
argument.
so.
I know we did discuss at that point the, triangle yellow signs,
Right,
and that never got farther than that.
well, we'll print out those, what the recommendations
Okay.
were, and, put it on next week's meeting. If there's anything else that anyone sees on that or would want us to look into, happy to do that. This is from the Village of Nelsonville, as I said. As everyone probably knows, we are in an impasse with the fire protection contract in Nelsonville. The sticking point for me is that they sent us a check, but on the check, or in the correspondence with the check, it states that they'll only pay, that this payment that they sent us was for half of the total, which doesn't represent the amount that we requested. So at that point, we have not cashed the check, and I have sent a letter to Nelsonville, or we have sent a letter to Nelsonville stating we'd be more than willing to negotiate once they remove that wording from the check, and that we could deposit the check and pay the fire company what they're owed. Also, a portion of it goes for our LoSAP and for our workers' comp, so that money is needed for that also. This is the second letter, and this is from Bill O'Neill. Once again, we are requesting a joint public meeting with you and your board and me and my board to discuss and negotiate a settlement of the fire protection agreement with the Cold Spring Fire Department. This meeting will have no preconditions. As Marie pointed out to me, only the conditions that he's setting here, which are, as we have stated repeatedly, we are seeking a fair and transparent solution to this needless impasse. By fair, I mean that the agreement is equitable to your taxpayers and ours, and affords the fire department the appropriate financial support they need to continue their invaluable service. Just a note on that, he recognizes in every correspondence the invaluable service, and yet we've broken it down the costs so clearly for them, so they can understand where every cent is going. The village is not making any money on this. We have requests directly from the fire department for an amount. Then we add onto that the LoSAP costs and workers' comp, which we have no control over, and each year that can adjust one way or the other, usually up, and that's the amount of money we've requested. This has been going, we've had this agreement since Seth Gallagher was mayor. I believe it was 2009. It was a 4-year agreement, which included the LoSAP and workers' comp. Then at the end of that, 2013, there was no contract. We continued, receiving monies. I'm not sure how the bill went out, or the invoice or whatever for that without the contract, until last year when we requested it, or the year before we actually requested it, and they said it was too late in the budget season, so we kind of agreed with that and ate that money that year, or the residents of the village and the section of Phillipstown, you know, kind of pooled their money for that, for the amount that the Nelsonville did not pay on that. This year, they've refused to pay. This is Mr. O'Neill's first year as mayor, and their board has sought fit not to pay us what we're requesting. So, I'd like some feedback from the board on what you'd like to do. My thing was, I'm more than willing to go negotiate if we get the money. If you think that's maybe too much to ask, we can have a meeting or set a meeting. It's up to you.
I think we should go forward with a meeting. By the way, the Cold Spring Fire Company amount has gone up
Right.
since we first
Exactly.
sent them a bill, so the amount will go up again.
Yeah.
But I think we should go ahead with the meeting and listen.
Lynn,
I agree,
okay?
and,
Brent?
I'm good with the meeting, yeah.
yeah, I'm willing to meet with them too.
Okay, well, within the spirit of Christmas, I'll agree to it.
Can we schedule for after the holidays?
We
or-
can schedule for after the holidays. I would think, second week in January, or no, that would be our,
It doesn't have to be a Tuesday.
it doesn't have to be a Tuesday.
It doesn't have to be night either if we wanna do it earlier.
Well, what is people's feeling? Do you wanna do it after the new year, or do you wanna do it sooner, and, which would be next week sometime, if they can meet that, or we can do it in January and set a date?
Well, for me,
Yeah,
early
that's
January
okay.
is better.
We have a meeting on the, when's our first meeting in January, the 9th? We're having one the first week, or no?
No, we're not having one the first week.
The second,
Didn't we say you weren't gonna have one that day?
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna have one that day.
okay,
We canceled the day after Christmas and the day after New Year's, so the first would be the 9th.
I don't know what day, do you know what day their meetings are?
they're not Tuesdays.
They're on Tuesday,
They're not, I'm pretty sure they're not Tuesdays.
I think Nelsonville's Mondays.
they're Mondays.
Mondays?
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't matter either way.
Would you like to meet like Thursday, the 4th, or do you want,
I can't do Thursday.
you can't do Thursdays, or?
I can't
just
do that particular Thursday.
Oh, okay.
I can do other Thursdays.
Well, then, if we have the business meeting, we could have the business meeting on the 16th, or at the 2nd, well, you should stick with the 9th.
What's the proposal?
I don't know, we can have it any day, we don't have to have it on Tuesday.
I'm gonna do Thursday.
If we don't have the first week, then the second week would be our business meeting, I don't wanna have it on that day, we should just have a workshop just for that.
Thursday the 11th.
It's fine with me, the 11th,
I don't know.
10th or 11th, 7 o'clock.
What days of the week are they?
Wednesday,
Tenth is a
Thursday.
Wednesday, the 11th is a Thursday.
Thursday would be good, I think. I don't think I have anything on Thursday.
Well, if we meet here, though, there's probably gonna be meetings, right? Or what day is there not a meeting, if we have it here?
I'll have to check. So you're thinking either the 10th or the 11th?
Mm-hmm.
I'll check tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll email?
Huh?
Email a date?
Yeah. So shall I, if we can find I mean, we can always go up there, we don't have to worry about.
No, I'm not going up there.
Okay, so it'll be here. Either the
I'm giving
10th
up enough here.
Okay, and either the 10th or the 11th, and if either one of those are available in terms of room, we'll have Jeff set it up.
Yes,
Okay, what time do you wanna start?
7,
7 p.m. Okay,
That's good.
invite the fire company?
yes. Or
Right.
representatives, it's gonna be a public meeting.
Yep. Okay. Done.
Okay, and then we'll inform the press as soon as we know. And also see if they can, if they'll attend.
What do you think? You wanna-
They're very eager.
Give them something exciting to do in January.
What was that date again? The 10th
The
of the?
10th or the
10th or
11th,
11th.
10th.
Wednesday or Thursday?
Let's see. Okay, that's it for correspondence. Next is authorize mayor to sign a letter of support for Little Stony Point Association. If you remember, I believe it was last year, we signed one, supporting their, construction of their, building that they're putting up
Right.
down at Stony Point, so I think that's underway now, the footings are in, I think. Anyway, I received another letter from Freddie Martin, requesting that we, follow up with another, letter of support. Dear Parks and Trails, the Village of Cold Spring is happy to fully support the application for Little Stony Point Citizens Association to procure a grant with the Parks and Trails New York for improvements to the park at Little Stony Point, including installing solar power and a bathroom at the Volunteer Center and a mobile solar unit to power public music events by the Hudson River. We are also grateful for safe, clean, public access to Little Stony Point and the Hudson River, which the association helps to provide. So, I'd like to make a motion, well, somebody else.
I'll make a motion to, have Mayor Morandi sign this letter to Parks and Trails in support of Little Stony Point Citizen Association.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Are you gonna speak just tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay, there it is. The bills? Lynn?
Okay, I make a motion to approve batch number 4408 for $79,327.76.
I will second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment, any further comments?
Just a question on the tectonic report. Was there action taken in terms of accepting their recommendation? I think there was two options they were looking at.
No, not at this point.
Not yet.
I think the follow-up was, we were going to send a letter, to the landowners and kinda get the feedback from them.
About these.
Or see if there's pushback or whatever, yeah. There's easements, one easement would need to be improved and one would we might have to gain another one for access on the one side, so. I guess once we, hear back from them, in the letter was requesting a meeting to go over the project. So, once that's done, then.
Then I think we would wanna meet with Bart and Greg
Right.
to go over the recommendations.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, I was just curious, I wanted to, review what you said on the LoSAP agreement with Nelsonville. So for 4 years, they basically, or for how long a period of time have they been?
well, for 4 years it was actually in the contract.
Or in the
And it was
contract?
in the contract, and when they first put LoSAP, agreed to do LoSAP.
They're
They,
responsible for their share of it.
right, well, they didn't, when the village agreed to, you had a referendum set, when the referendum was passed, and so LoSAP was, agreed upon, then the billing went, I'm not sure if that was that year or not, but in 2009, in the agreement with the village, it was broken down very clearly, so had put in there that the LoSAP and workers' comp were included in this.
Right.
And they didn't want a big hit on LoSAP right away, or I think it was LoSAP, and so it was phased in incrementally for 4 years. And then after that contract ran out in 13, they continued to pay that same amount that was paid the final year of the contract with no increases. There were no increases during this whole period. And then, this last year, so we sent them a contract, but we hadn't gotten the numbers from workers' comp or LoSAP till it was late. Or they felt it was late for their budget season to readjust because they have a small budget. So that was in
2015.
and then last year, we sent them the contract, which included everything and broke it down, which we learned from our attorney that all the other villages that he represents, no one breaks it down like this for them. It's like, this is what the cost of services are, and they send, and they send them an invoice.
Right.
The other sticking point was there were a couple of things that we were doing, the village was not doing kind of legally, I guess it would be, as far as the fire company is our department. They work for us, and so all the dealings and all financial works are supposed to be coming through us and working through us. So, but we had made arrangements somewhere in the past with Phillipstown, where the fire company went up them personal, they went up to them, not the village, during their budget season, and, requested amounts. And then Phillipstown paid them directly, but they paid the village, the LoSAP and workers' comp separately. They paid that directly to the village. Whereas Nelsonville was paying the village, the total sum, and then we were paying, the fire company, the amount they
Right.
requested, or their portion. So this year, we adjusted all of that, so we went up and, Fran went up, and Steve, was it Steve?
Jeff,
And Jeff went up, and presented our requests, and they agreed upon it, and, the money's now coming through us, and we'll, send it to the fire company, the portion.
So they have agreed to pay what?
Phillipstown
He was
has.
talking about the town of Phillipstown.
Town of Phillipstown.
Oh, okay, all right.
So Phillipstown agreed, so before Phillipstown dealt with the fire company, which wasn't, legal,
Right.
according to state law. So this year, we informed them of that, and Fran went up representing us, and Jeff, our clerk. And so, and they presented our request, and Phillipstown agreed, and now that money will be coming to us instead of directly going to them.
Mhm.
And so everything's in order. That was one of the problems Nelsonville had. They were being dealt differently. So
Right.
that's been adjusted or corrected. And now I think they don't feel, or what O'Neill's expressed is that they didn't vote for LoSAP. They shouldn't be paying LoSAP. And
Well,
he
that-
actually wants to,
Everyone has an opinion, that's
yeah,
for sure.
and he wants to have his own referendum on LoSAP.
Well, that also leads us to the question of, what are the alternatives available to Nelsonville?
They can go to another, fire district.
They could, let's say, be covered by Highlands or.
Yeah, if they
Barry.
agreed to it. Yeah.
Right, which would invariably cost them more, those are both fire districts.
I would probably guess twice as much.
Significantly.
So it seems like, well, these are things you can discuss at the meeting.
What's that?
These are things that can be discussed at the meeting.
They've been discussed, so we'll just
And it's
discuss
still
them in
intractable, right? There's
Yeah,
still-
we'll, discuss in an open meeting.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
So what they did do, they sent the check for half of what,
Right, which, and if you
minus.
cash it, then you agreed, well, that's all we're getting this year.
Right, exactly. So,
And so how are we covering the costs and expenses that,
right now, they're not
It's coming out of
receiving
our
their
budget.
portion. Well, they're not receiving the portion from Nelsonville. The fire company isn't.
But the village is funding the LoSAP.
LoSAP and workers' comp.
right?
Yeah. And I think the amount's like 3,000, isn't it?
It's not,
It's not a lot of.
it's not 5 digits.
Right. Well, it wouldn't be the first time people made a decision to cut their nose off to spite their face, but yeah, I guess it's up to Nelsonville to,
Yeah.
I mean, they also realize that if they go to North Highlands or to Garrison, then the amount that they usually pay to our fire company has to be covered by us in Phillipstown.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
that's the other half of that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay. Thank you. Just
Frank?
curious.
Yeah, if I could just talk a little bit, I'm not really familiar with this petition on Fair Street.
Yes.
But having that you mentioned it, there's a couple questions I have. Isn't the speed limit on Fair Street, isn't it 15? At least part of Fair Street is 15?
There's no speed limit in the village. It can be 15. There might be a sign saying 15,
There is.
but all the side streets, unless they're around a school, at certain areas around schools, are 30 miles an hour.
Okay, so you could get a speeding ticket, but it would probably have to be over the 30 miles.
You'd have to go by 30, which would be.
You'd have to be going over 30 to get a speeding ticket.
Or you could be given a ticket, and if you didn't fight it, you could pay. But if you wanted to say that, the speed limit's 30, which some people have, I guess, in the past, and have won, because.
And this second comment is just really bears on what Frank just said, is that are children playing in Fair Street and or related to that, is there possibly an ongoing, is anybody else seeing a kind of increased need or activity of children, not necessarily on Fair Street, but anywhere? Kind of like a need for more parks or more them to go to parks to do whatever they're doing? And or
I don't know, I haven't heard, there haven't been any requests or demands for parks as far as I know. I know that there's like, well, they state in the letter, there's like 15 children on Fair Street now.
I don't know where they are.
And I don't know, we haven't counted them up, but verified that, but, you know, there are a number of families that moved in with younger children, so.
Did you say there's a thought to put a skate park or to put something in Mayor's Park?
The students in this 8th grade class are working on this project, trying to, they were thinking that it would be nice to have a skate park, so they wanted to present a model and, you know.
Are they talking a skate park or a skateboard park?
We
I
asked
think
that
it-
question,
I
I
think
think
it-
it's a skateboard.
I think it's a
Yeah.
skateboard park. Yeah, not a skate park. Although they said skate park, but I don't think it's like
I'm
ice
not
skating or
familiar-
roller
Yeah,
skating.
I think
I'm not
it's a
familiar with.
skateboard park.
Mhm.
Speaking of ice skating, I believe that the rec center has filled their pond and, or filled their rink and waiting for some cold weather, which we're getting
coming
apparently in the next few
Big time.
days. Get on your skates and head down.
I don't ice skate.
Anything else? You all right? You wanna just keep going on with
Yeah.
some stuff?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.